Alderdise High School.
You attend a funeral. A mother's final goodbye to her 20-year-old son. The organ plays softly, tissues rustle. Children shift restlessly in wooden pews. Then gunfire erupts. Not one shot, not two. 20 rounds tear through the afternoon air outside Destiny of Faith Church. 6 people collapse on the church steps. 300 mourners inside died for cover, certain they're about to join the young man they came to bury. Welcome back to Twisted Truths. I'm your host, and today we're examining a case that shocked Pittsburgh to its core, where a funeral became a battlefield, where revenge consumed reason, and where the cycle of violence reached its most horrifying conclusion. But this story doesn't begin at that church. It starts 13 days earlier, at a gas station, with 2 innocent women who had no idea they were about to become casualties in someone else's war. October 15th, 2022, 10:05 p.m. The Sunoco station on Cedar Avenue was supposed to be neutral territory. Both rival groups bought gas there. Both sides knew the security cameras worked. Everyone assumed that meant safety. They were wrong. At Pump 3, Betty Jean 8 waited for the number 54 bus. 59 years old, grandmother to 7, she made this same journey every night after her shift. The bus was running 3 minutes late. Those 3 minutes would cost her everything. Jacqueline Mahalik hurried past the gas station, phone in hand, checking the time. 33 years old, mother of young children, rushing to her late-night job. She had 12 minutes to get to work. She had 12 seconds to live. Neither woman knew about the beef that had been brewing for weeks. Neither cared about territorial disputes or social media threats. They were simply existing in the wrong space when hatred and revenge collided. The conflict started, like so many do, over something trivial. A house party 2 days earlier. Words exchanged. Someone felt disrespected. In a different world, maybe it ends with harsh words or a fistfight. But this is Pittsburgh's North Side, where respect demands blood. Let me introduce you to the young men whose choices would shatter multiple families forever. John James Horns, Jr. Just turned 20 in August. His godmother called him ambitious, trying to find his way, but the streets had already marked him. Social media posts showed him with friends, throwing gang signs, broadcasting his affiliations to anyone watching. On the other side, Sharon Troutman, 19, Jalon Hines, 21, Samuel Pegas, 30. Names that meant nothing to Betty or Jacqueline, but on October 15th, their paths would intersect in the most devastating way possible. Digital forensics later revealed the escalation, text messages traded like punches, Instagram stories posted and quickly deleted, screenshots showing weapons, location pins shared with deadly intent. Someone mentioned the Sunoco on Cedar Avenue. Someone else said they'd handle it. By 10 p.m. that night, 2 groups of armed men converged on that gas station. A grandmother waited for her bus. A mother hurried to work. All the pieces were in position for Pittsburgh's next tragedy. 9:45 p.m. Horns and his crew arrive. 3 men exit their vehicle. They don't go inside the store. They're waiting. 9:50 p.m. A black Hyundai Tucson cruises past once, then twice. Samuel Pegas behind the wheel, checking who's there. 9:58 p.m. Jacqueline Mahalik walks past the Giant Eagle, past the bus shelter, running late, unaware she's walking into a war zone. 10:02 p.m. The Hyundai returns and stops, 3 armed men inside. What happens next takes 57 seconds. Someone shouts across the parking lot. The audio is unclear, but witnesses heard the challenge. "What's up now?" Both sides draw weapons. The first shot cracks through the night air. 23 shell casings would be recovered. 2 different calibers, multiple shooters from both positions. Betty 8 doesn't run. Maybe she freezes. Maybe she doesn't understand what's happening until it's too late. Jacqueline Mahalik is caught directly between the shooters. Wrong place, wrong second, wrong everything. 10:03 p.m. The shooting stops. The Hyundai speeds north. John James Horns Jr. lies dying in the parking lot. Betty collapsed at the bus stop. Jacqueline motionless on the sidewalk. 3 dead, 1 wounded. A 4th man, Jalon Hines, shot in the leg but alive. The war had just begun. Allegheny General Hospital sits 1 block away. Paramedics arrived in under 2 minutes. For 3 victims, it was already too late. Mayor Ed Gainey stood at the corner the next morning, bloodstains still marking the concrete behind him. "We need the entire city to come together to deal with this violence," he said. But in certain neighborhoods, different conversations were happening.
I know it's tough right now. I know that there's a lot of families and friends who are hurting right now. And I know a lot of them feel like they should do something. So I wanted to do something with you. I want you to call and tell us what you know. I need you to speak up and say something. They shot up the sanctuary today.
Conversations about revenge, about who needed to pay, about which funeral to target. Something unusual happened during the investigation. The community started talking. Not 1 or 2 tips, but dozens. "I saw who was in that car. I know where they went. Check this social media post." Maybe because Betty and Jacqueline weren't targets. Maybe because killing grandmothers and mothers crosses a line even street code won't defend. Within 48 hours, arrests began. Sharon Troutman, Jalon Hines, Samuel Pegas. But arrests don't stop revenge. On Pittsburgh's north side, justice and vengeance wear the same face. October 20th, the Horns family meets with their funeral director. They choose Destiny of Faith Church on Brighton Road, a place of peace, a sanctuary. That same day, the threats begin. Text messages, social media posts quickly deleted, words whispered on street corners. The message is clear. John Horns Jr.'s funeral won't be peaceful. October 26th, the family formally requests police protection. Pittsburgh Public Safety approves. 2 officers will be assigned. October 27th, the officers receive their assignment. But somewhere between dispatch and deployment, wires cross. The address they're given? A funeral home 3 blocks from the actual church. October 28th, 7 a.m. Officers arrive at the wrong location. Empty parking lot, no activity. They radio dispatch. No funeral scheduled at this location. "Stand by," comes the response. The officers wait. Check again at 8 a.m. Still nothing. At 8:45, they leave. Meanwhile, 3 blocks away, mourners begin arriving at Destiny of Faith Church. Paige Davis, John's godmother, notices immediately. No police presence. "Where are the officers?" she asks. "They should be here," someone responds. "We requested them." 11 a.m. 300 mourners fill the church. Gospel music plays. The pastor speaks about forgiveness, about breaking cycles of violence, about young lives lost too soon. Outside, multiple shooters take positions. The church security camera records everything. 12:02 p.m. A figure in dark clothing appears at the corner. Then another. Then more. 12:04 p.m. The first shot cracks through Brighton Heights air.
High School.
Inside, mourners freeze. Car backfiring? Then the second shot, the third, then automatic fire. This isn't random, it's coordinated. 5 shots, pause, 15 more in rapid succession. Outside, 6 people fall. Blood spreads across church steps, where minutes ago mourners hugged and shared memories. Inside, panic. Bodies hit the floor, this time from fear, not prayer. Mothers throw themselves over children. The elderly crouch behind pews. The pastor's microphone picks up his words. Get down. Everyone down. Video from inside shows the chaos. A casket abandoned at the altar. Funeral programs scattered. A child's shoe left behind as families flee for exits that might lead to death. The shooting lasts 90 seconds. 90 seconds to violate everything sacred. Then silence. Then sirens. Police arrive to a scene they failed to prevent. 6 wounded outside. Inside, traumatized mourners who came to bury one victim of gun violence and nearly became victims themselves. The image that haunts Pittsburgh: uniformed officers carrying John Horns Jr.'s casket to the hearse. The funeral he couldn't have in peace. The protection that never came. 2 hours after the shooting, police arrest Sean Davis, 19. By evening, a 16-year-old joins him in custody. Both face attempted homicide charges. The investigation reveals what everyone already knows: retaliation for October 15th, which was retaliation for something before that, which was retaliation for something else. A cycle spinning so fast, nobody remembers who started it. Laura 8, Betty's daughter, speaks to the media. Please lay down your arms. It harms the city, the world. It hurts. Bridget Mihalik, Jacqueline's mother. Her children will still live their lives without her. The statistics tell one story. Pittsburgh matched 2021's homicide rate by October 2022. But numbers don't capture empty chairs at Sunday dinner. Numbers don't explain to children why mommy isn't coming home. Today, if you visit the corner of Cedar and Stockton, you'll find a memorial. Flowers for Betty 8. Photos of Jacqueline Mihalik. Candles that neighbors keep lit. 2 innocent women dead. 6 wounded at a funeral. Young men dead or in prison. Families destroyed. A community traumatized. For what? Territory that nobody owns? Respect that bullets can't earn? A street code that turns grandmothers into casualties. This case asks uncomfortable questions. When does seeking justice become seeking vengeance? When sacred spaces aren't safe, where is? And how many innocent people must die before communities say enough? Betty 8 was waiting for a bus home. Jacqueline Mihalik was hurrying to work. Neither chose to be part of someone else's war.
Remember their names. Remember that behind every statistic is a family forever changed. Remember that violence doesn't end violence. It only creates more victims. If you found this video informative, please like and subscribe for more true crime content. Leave your thoughts in the comments, but remember, real people lost their lives in this story. Let's discuss it with the respect their memories deserve. Until next time, stay safe out there.